हेलो एवरीवन। आई एम कैलकटा और लखनऊ के बाद अब आई एम अहमदाबाद के भी कॉल्स आउट हो गए हैं। एंड आई एम गेटिंग लॉट ऑफ क्वेरीज कि ये जो मेल आया है ये कॉल है या जस्ट दे आर आस्किंग टू फिल द फॉर्म। सो whoever received the call from I am Ahmedabad, they could receive the call and they will be receiving the interview date soon. So अभी वरी करने की जरूरत नहीं है, आप सबको कॉल्स आ गई है। Congratulations for clearing the first stage. बट अभी तो मेन स्टोरी शुरू हो गई। सो एंड वन मोर थिंग, सो इफ आई रिमेम्बर करेक्टली इन लास्ट फ्यू इयर्स आई एम सीइंग कि if your interview is starting suppose on 1st of Feb, you may get your date on 22nd on 23rd of Jan. So 7 से 10 days का ही डिफरेंस होता है कॉल मतलब डेट बताने का और इंटरव्यू स्टार्ट होने का। So in case you got the mail, you need to be preparing really hard so that you'll not be thinking कि और टाइम मिल जाता तो और प्रिपेयर कर लेते। So now I'm going to explain the main focus area for IIM Ahmedabad interviews. So in Ahmedabad, you're not going to get the VAT, you are going to get the AWT and the PI. So IIM Ahmedabad ही शायद पहला ऐसा भी स्कूल था जिसने अपने इंटरव्यूज में ग्रुप डिस्कशन या जीडीज को ड्रॉप किया था। सो 10-12 years बैक आईएम्स में जीडी होता था। सो फ्यू पीपल वर स्टार्ट कंप्लेनिंग कि बहुत अनफेयर होता है, फ्यू पीपल गुड एट स्पीकिंग गेट द हाईएस्ट मार्क्स। सो व्हाट दे डिड, दे ड्रॉप द जीडी and they came up with the AWT process. And AWT is pretty unique for IIM Ahmedabad. If you see other blackies like Bangalore, Calcutta, there you are going to get the VAT, but in Ahmedabad you specifically get the AWT. एंड पीआई पार्ट में भी अहमदाबाद का कोई ऐसा एरिया नहीं है कि जैसे बैंगलोर का बोलते हैं कि उनका एसओपी बेस्ड इंटरव्यू होता है। कलकत्ता इज नोन फॉर देयर मैथ्स क्वेश्चन। सो अहमदाबाद कैन बी एनी डायरेक्शन में जा सकता है इसका इंटरव्यू। सो यू नीड टू बी थोरो प्रिपेयर्ड ऑन दैट। So first I'm going to talk about the AWT process. So like I already told, it is just the replacement of the GD process. So there they are not going to check your communication skills. They are also going to check your logical reasoning, your analytical ability, everything get checked. So I'm going to tell you few of the things that they are expecting you to do. So first, you need to identify the assumptions or premises that they give in the argument, right? So a few of the examples that I can identify from previous year AWT was like effects of the technology on children, right? So one of the assumption here can be that children are using the technology, right? Very basic assumption, but yes, you just can't say that if you a ban on using the technology to the children, they are not going to access that, right? Role of NGOs or many like different environmental policies. Then the second step will be evaluate the validity of the arguments using some logical reasoning, right? So you just can't say that कि children के लिए पूरा technology इनको मतलब they are just not studying because of the technology. There are also some good parts of the technology, right? If you take the example of the pandemic corona, at that time technology helped those kids, right? उस टाइम पे अगर टेक्नोलॉजी ना होती तो वो लोग कुछ भी नहीं पढ़ सकते थे। Then you need to give some evidence that may strengthen or weaken the argument. So now you can see that the screen time is increasing because of this technology. If I take the example of this like technology effect of technology on children, then you need to also give the coherent analysis within a limited word count. So these are 4 steps that you're supposed to do in AWT. We are also given a detailed AWT video on our channel. You can go and have a look at it. Now I'll move to the PI part. So the interviews is quite conventional. So you can be asked these questions related to academic knowledge. So you need to ask like draw a stress strain diagram, right? Or working of the internal combustion engine. So I have taken all these examples for physics from the example of physics graduates or the mechanical engineers or coming from a core background which have some understanding of the physics thermodynamics law. So you can be asked these questions. So you'll be given pen and paper. You just need to draw a stress strain diagram, or maybe like two stroke engine or four stroke engine set, how it works. Very simple thing, but I hope that you have studied in that. Maybe for few people, they have also studied in their engineering also, but you can be asked on that. Then work experience part, you can be asked like how your day-to-day work look like. Then after that, there will be follow-up questions on that, how your any conflict you see at your workplace, you can be asked on that also. Then some industry specific questions. So suppose this guy was working in Reliance, so he was asked that why Reliance is not into steel, right? So you need to go get proper rationale behind that. Or maybe they can ask you that why Reliance entered into the telecom sector. So what was the extension they were looking for? What were the synergies they're looking for, right? So they can ask you anything related to your work. It can be specific to you about your work, or it can go to up to your ex industry also, or maybe some related industries also, right? So they can ask you that who is the biggest competitor of the airlines industry. So the answer is quite obvious that these Zoom and Google Meets are now becoming the competitors for airline industry because you don't need to travel now. But if you increase on your horizons, only then you are going to answer this. Then career goals and motivations. So why MBA is pretty like asked questions every year. So why MBA needs to be very clear. Sometimes they ask that what exactly do you want to do after doing the MBA, right? So you can ask that. One of the questions that I have picked from previous year, my mentee's interview. So he was working as a key validation engineer that time. So he was that why you want leave your job and come to this profile. Few people are already earning like very good CTCs at their current work. So why do you want to leave such huge CTC and come for MBA? So you need to be ready with such questions if you are having such profile. Then general awareness. So anything and everything can be asked. So sometimes you will be asked rapid fire like who is the president of like Canada, right? So you have seen that drama going on in Canada. So you know what is happening there. So few questions that we have seen in the past was like Venezuelan crisis were there. So at that time, few people were asked on that. Then some opinion-based questions also like GDP growth, climate change strategy. So you need to be ready with these questions. Now they also ask some case-based questions also. So this person was coming from a like chemical industry. So he was asked that how you design a machine to reduce a rubber production cost, right? And people coming from BB or BCom background, so they will ask that how would you value a firm using a dividends, right? So pretty simple question. Even engineers can also be asked if they say that I'm interested in finance, or you say that I am the person who invests in the market. So pretty simple question that using the dividends, how you value a firm. Because whenever a company gives a dividend, their reserves and surplus goes down and their valuation is getting impacted. So how it is getting impacted? There are also some logical puzzles or mathematical questions, I'll say. So one of the guys was asked that if there is a some probability involved in opening a gate, so how many average number of attempts you are looking for. So like this, you can ask some puzzles or logical problems also. Then some leadership traits or behavioral things also checked in the Ahmedabad interview. So one of my mentee was she was part of the college dance team. So what you learned while you were leading your college dance team, then if you are resolved some conflict at your workplace, so how you done that, what was the problem. Then hobbies and interests, right? So one person has mentioned something about sustainability. So he was asked that how oil companies act as a roadblocks in a sustainable development, right? And another person was saying mentioned that he is like pretty much reading the Khalid Hosseini's, right? So he was all the books that Khalid Hosseini written so far. So you need to be ready if you are going to put such hobbies or interests. Then some technical knowledge also checked. So one person was asked that what is the difference between iron or steel, or the what is the carbon percentage in the cast iron, right? So you need to be ready with that. And people who are coming from finance background, or they mention in their introduction or YMBA that I want to pursue career in finance. So you can be asked question related to mutual fund, derivatives, high frequency trading. So I'm Ahmedabad can go to anywhere. So be ready with that. Some questions that I remember from my mentee's experience. So the one of the question was Belt and Road Initiative, why it is not passed through Russia. So though these are old question, but it's still relevant to this day. What is the difference between GDP nominal and GDP PPP? So if if you are engineer or non-engineer, doesn't matter. You need to know what GDP is, how it is calculated on PPP basis, how it is calculated on nominal basis, right? In 2020, oil prices was almost negative. So they just wanted to understand that are you really following a news, and how can prices of something go negative, right? So you need to give the proper rationale behind that. Then opinion-based question: how do you think humans and robots will collaborate in the future? So these are few of the questions that I have taken from actual IIM Ahmedabad experiences, right? If you are got the call and facing difficulty in IIM Ahmedabad interview, you can reach out to me on WhatsApp anytime. Thank you.